Welcome to the Ask Faleskini podcast with a guest. I'm proud to present Adriana Marvel, speaker and a coach. Adriana, welcome to the show. Please tell us more about yourself. What is your story?
Thank you. Thank you so much for Peter for inviting me and allowing me to be part of your community. It's always a pleasure. We talk behind the scenes that we have so many things in common. When we talk about midlife crisis, my story is about midlife crisis. Maybe many of your audience, they woke up one day, in the 30s, 40s, or like myself. A couple of years ago, I woke up one morning and looking in the front of a mirror in the bathroom, a mirror that I always look every single day at that mirror, but I never actually look at the person in the mirror. I look at the mirror, but not at the person in the mirror. And having a lot of adversity previously in my life through going through divorce, moving from Romania, where I'm originally was born and raised, moving to States, work there, and then move to Canada, where I'm living now. Life, this called a life is lifing us for a reason to wake me up. But I didn't see it like that. I said, life is horrible. It sucks. All these things are not working. Everything is against me. Why me? The victim role. Until that day when I look at the person in the mirror, I woke up crying and I went in the bathroom and I said, "That's it. No more. I'm done with you." And that was the first time I actually saw the person in the mirror, really saw her. And I couldn't get upset anymore with her because I saw something that I never seen before, which is a broken human being, a little child crying inside, look at me, and a woman that is lost, that didn't know who she is, what she wants, if she ever dreamed or allow herself to dream. And that's when I start becoming curious because I was at the verge of, okay, that's it. Because that's what I woke up with, this intention, like, that's it, this life, I can't do this life anymore. Or I change. And that was a tough decision because we all know that it's easier to just run away or it's easier to just drop everything and just say, I'm done. But something inside of me, the fire of the curiosity when I used to be a child, being always curious about everything, I said, wait a minute. What if everything I have learned until today, maybe it's just a big lie, or it's not mine, it's not my truth? What if I can start creating my own reality? And that's when I made the decision to not go with the first option, which is I'm done, life is over. And I decided to become curious about who I am, what I really am as a human, as a soul, as a body, as everything, to understand all these points of view and understand why I choose to believe what I was believing until that moment and how I can choose something different to literally to change my perspective about myself and my life. And that's what I did. And that's when the journey started to be like, okay, let's see what can I do. Who is been through my shoes and I can learn from and try to reinvent the wheel. And that's the story that got me to where I am today.
Yeah, amazing transformation. We've been on a panel together on an event, and I really admire how you go about it, how you're so frank, what happened, and how you overcome the adversity. And I really like something that you hinted at, and that is the societal induced goals. Who are we living for? Wh- Why did we set these goals if even if we achieve it, we don't like it, and we are frustrated because we cannot achieve it? So, can we talk a bit more about the goals and what society expects of us versus what you mentioned the inner child, what inner child is feeling, and how our subconscious is just fighting against us because we are fighting for the wrong, let's say, ideals, aspirations, goals. So can we discuss this topic a bit? So the
Definitely.
reduced goals.
Definitely. In my own journey of discovering what the heck was happening inside here and here because I didn't know what is in there. It was a big mess. I started realizing that all the patterns, the beliefs, the way of doing, even speaking, even the way I was speaking, the voice, the modulation of my voice, my needs, my wants, and none of those were mine. All of those things were adopted from my parents, from the society in Romania with the patriarchal culture I grew up with, the blueprint I have created as from a little girl to become a woman. All those things weren't mine. They were adopted. I adopted because when we were children, the first 3 years when we children, which I didn't know before, the first 3 years or when we are children, babies or toddlers, we don't think. Literally, we don't think. We don't have a neurocortex form enough to think. We always like survive or act from the limbic system, from the survival mode of our brains and minds and bodies, which is all emotions. So if something doesn't work with me, I'm gonna express. That's the only way I can speak because I don't have words. On the first years, I just blubber, I scream, I yell, cry, whatever that is. And then the parents, the society says, no crying, that's not allowed in this house. I give you a reason to cry. So all these patterns or all this information that was given to me was telling me that I shouldn't be who I am or whatever's coming out of me. That's not accepted. So as a child, we have two needs. We want to be accepted and loved by our people that are raising us. And also we want to be true to our identity, which is our authenticity. So it's connection or authenticity because we couldn't have both because my parents said no, you can't be this way, you cannot scream, you cannot ask questions, you cannot behave this way. So that means you're not accepting my authenticity. So I only can choose connection because I can't survive without my parents, no.
Mhm.
So me without surviving my parents, I choose connection over authenticity, and that's how I lost who I was. And I couldn't develop that because I had to focus on connection. And the connection came with conditioning. Conditioning, you have to be this way. You're a girl, so as a girl, you have to cook, clean, do this way. You have to act this way to be good when you become a wife. And all these things I start building up on top of each other that who I should be. So because I'm focusing on all of this, I forgot about who I'm actually am. And that's how I built my identity, this blueprint that I start living from without, I became so unconscious with all these patterns of doing and being what other people in the society told me I should be, that I completely forgot who I was. But is always was a fire inside of me. What if? What if? I keep asking myself, what if whatever is inside of me is true? What if the people that tell me outside about me is not true? What if I can do things differently? What if wanting more is actually good and not bad? Because I've been told you want too much, you talk too much, you do too much, stop it, you too much, Adriana. So all these patterns was an inner fight inside of me of who I should be and that seed inside of me that wanted to grow, but I wasn't allowing it because what the society want me to be. And I had to because I had to survive. But then when I started growing up and became an adult and life was lifing me, I keep asking myself, why these things happening to me? And they weren't to me, they were for me, but I couldn't see it because I was inside of my own jar and I couldn't see what was outside. I couldn't see the labels that was put on me by society, and I put myself my own labels because I was inside. And with time, I asked for help from coaches, mentors, people, psychology, and all these things. And then I start seeing through their eyes what I couldn't see. And they helped me to get out of my own jar so I can rip off the labels that were put on me and I start creating my own labels.
Amazing. So you mentioned mentors uh, and people that helped you. Could we dive a bit into that? Because I'm always curious uh, what is possible to do on your own with different tools, because on our platform we offer many different tools like books, pre-recorded videos, uh, past live sessions that we had, and so on. But there is a difference of opinion between experts. Is it
Yeah.
possible to do it on your own, or you need a mentor, someone that will hold you accountable, that will be a cheerleader when you're down, and that will also be able to mirror what you're doing? Because a lot of times we're just wondering because we don't know what's happening, and we need someone to mirror what's happening to us. So,
Yeah.
what's your take on that? What can we do on our own, or what can midlifers do on our own? And where do we need to start thinking about group coaching or individual coaching?
Definitely, I will say the answer, the short answer. I'll give a short and a long answer. The short one will be both. You need both. You need to do your own work because, like my mom always says, you nobody can go behind your eyeballs and make you feel anything. Nobody can go behind your eyeballs inside of you and make you feel or change nothing that was inside of you. And also, we are human beings. We live through connection. I I truly hope that in the near future, they actually the studies and the science is going to actually show us with real facts what's happening between two people when they are connected. When two people are connected, heart to heart, eyes to eyes, knees to knees, and they sit in front of each other and have a conversation, something is happening between those two people. Are the energetic, and not just energetic, but physical. Through your pores of your skin, whatever you're feeling, if you feel, if you feel stress or whatever, the cortisol is coming through your pores, and the other person is feeling it as well. How many times in a room you've been with someone or other people, you're like, I just don't feel, doesn't feel good. Or you go in another room, it's like, I don't know what is about these people, but I just love them. That's happening in a chemical level in your body, but also the connections that we have with people around us at the energy level. We feed each other. And it's important to know where you are with your mindset, with your emotions, so then you will influence the people around you. So I truly believe that it's important to have someone, like I said previously, to have someone to take you to see what you're not seeing, for them to mirror, like you said, to mirror back to you the things you're not able to see yet. And then also to do the work with yourself, because nobody can do the inner work except you. They can guide you, they can maybe lead by example, they can show you what they have done and then give you the hope and give you the tools that you can do with yourself. But in the end, nobody can do the internal work more or better than you do. I always let people say, oh, you heal. No, we don't heal nobody. The only person can heal is you. They can only guide you, to help you, to support you. Like you said, to hold the hand or keep you from the back when you're about to fall. Yes, definitely both, for sure.
Okay, you mentioned energy. So, how how often do you, while doing your coaching, how often do you talk about energy, vibration? How open are you to this new age, let's say, definitions, how things work? How open are you to mixing like this psychoanalysis with neuroscience, and now with let's call it quantum physics? So, do you use any of these concepts like Joe Dispenza or Tony Robbins in your teachings?
Definitely, that's the ones you just mentioned are part of those mentors that I follow and learn from. Each one came to parts of my life that helped me to build the person I am today. Definitely, I am not just open; I'm embracing everything, because I think evolution comes with embracing, with curiosity, with to be open, to be like, what if this is real? We don't know what we don't know until we start looking, until we become curious about it. So I'm very open, especially when I experience all of this in me. I experience so many synchronicities. I experience so many divine interventions, let's call it, because it doesn't matter whatever you want to call it, God, universe, source, energy, quantum physics, whatever you want to call it. It's just the human labelness of our brain is trying to put a label, so it's a prediction to feel safe about it. But it doesn't matter what you call it, it exists, it is there, it's present. We all experience in a way or another. Science is proving it. Science start coming, they were like science and spirituality were like two highways that never met. I feel like slowly, slowly they start intertwining and they start showing that there's so much science explaining, like Dr. Joe Dispenza. Through science, he proved what the power of meditation, the power of that, the source of the energy that we all have inside of us. We just never been taught how to tap into that. But I truly believe that it's part of who we are and we have access. Is the gift of being a human and a soul into a body, and it's important for us to always remind ourselves. As an example, I want to ask you and your audience, who, if I say something and you hear me, or then I ask you to say a word. So let's do this quick exercise. Are you okay? We do a quick exercise. So I want you in your mind, not out loud, but in your mind, to say the word happy. So you ready? Okay. We're
Yep.
gonna say it in our mind. One, two, three. Say it. Did you say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I want to ask you, who said it?
I don't have the right answer for that. It's usually
So you
ourselves.
said it, correct? You
Yeah.
said it. Okay. The next question. You heard it, correct?
Yes.
But you never said it out loud. You said it in your mind, but you heard it.
Yeah.
And you said it. Who heard it and who said it?
Yeah. The same person.
Okay, so who heard that you heard? I know we got a little bit deeper into this, but you know what I mean is that it's that knowing inside of you that hears things that you're not actually saying. How can you hear it if you never said it out loud, but you still heard it? Who said it? Who chose to say it? So I believe that we have something that consciousness. You became conscious. You had to become conscious to hear it without actually saying it, with using the vibration of your throat, of your vocal cords. So it's that consciousness that makes us humans, that makes us understand, oh, I'm here in this earth, oh, I'm here speaking with you, I'm conscious of all these things around me, or I choose not to be conscious of not of the noises around me, because there always are noises. We just choose to filter them. Our brain chooses to filter them. Another thing I want to share is that the same, the consciousness that I'm looking at, it's that consciousness of our autonomic nervous system. Is something in us telling to your brain, telling to your heart, telling to your kidneys, telling to your liver to do the work without doing anything. Who is that commands at the command control command panel, saying, okay, get the kidneys filter, and then he tells you need to go to the bathroom. You just know you need to go to the bathroom because your body is telling you. But who is doing all the work previously? That
Hmm.
we don't think to breathe. We don't do conscious breathing. We don't tell our kidneys and liver to detox and do all these things. It consciously does it. Who does that?
Hmm.
Who choose to do all of this? So that's why I'm looking at, that's why I'm so open to this, because it's something greater, bigger than us, that is in us and is all around us, that is helping us to experience this life. More conscious we become of that, more we are in power of being who we are truly as a soul and an energy level as well.
Okay. So if we dive a bit into the Jungian style, we are wearing these masks, and this mask they become too tight for us, and they start to choke us, or
Yeah.
uh, they they prevent us from breathing. And we know that we need the mask to survive, but how can we get rid of too much mask? Not whole mask, but too much mask. And when, how do we know um, when it's too much and when we need to be more authentic? What is the telltale sign that we get, that we understand that we are too rigid, that we are too much in a certain mask, and that this is not good for us?
Mm. Such a beautiful question. I think it comes with the experience that we have and the things we attract in our life, the people, the situations. As an example from my own life, when I started feeling tighter and tighter in this body that I didn't feel like I even was owning, or the mindset and all these things that was happening inside of me, is when life was lifing me more and more and more.
Mhm.
Get the divorce, the bankruptcy, the health was going down, relationship was like one foot in, one foot out. All these things were happening. And then I never sat and asked myself the question in this way, because we usually ask ourselves, but why? Why this is happening to me? Instead of, why this is happening to me again and again? See, it's the same question. It's just changing the perspective of the energy of how I'm asking. Do I come with guilt and blame it, or do I come to with curiosity? And when I start come with curiosity, then I realized that this life is here, and all this situation, I'm attracting them in a beautiful gift to understand that I was looking at outside and I was not looking inside. I was trying to find my solutions outside where everything was already inside, but I wasn't willing to look, because when you look inside, you don't see just the glamour of who you are. You start seeing the demons, you start seeing the dark, the shadows, and all these things that we've been pressing it, pressing it, pressing it. I love language. Think of the word depressed. Deep pressed. You pressing down, you pressing down, you pressing down, and your body has to burst one day with the disease. You pressing down emotions. You come up with sooner or later with the depression and anxiety and stress. You pressing down all the emotions and the mental struggle inside of you, and you yell and scream at your children, or you burst at your husband and telling I'm done. That's how he shows up. And when I realized that the outside is actually a reflection of what the mess what's happening inside of me, because I wasn't willing to look, then I realized that doesn't matter how much I fight the outside to try to fix the outside, until I don't look inside and fix inside. Not fix, it's not even fixing, it's a more of understanding. Understanding, become aware. I call it the triple A. One is awareness, so become conscious and understand what is happening inside of me. The second one is accept, because you can't change nothing without accepting what is. And the third one is take action. So without those three things, because for me it was like I'm taking action. I was all about action, action, action. But I can take action if I'm not accepting what is. And I can accept what is without become aware of what is. So I reverse engineer everything, because I was all about the action. And then I focus on understanding, become aware, conscious, ask questions, ask for help, study books and other people that were already doing this job or this work, and learn from them and see how this applies inside of me.
Thank you for these insights. I have another question that I would really like your answer on it. So, how long does it take to go from acknowledging that we have a problem, that we are in midlife crisis, to get to some resolution? Because people start working on themselves, and then problems emerge from nowhere. We have traumas that we just as you said, pressed down. We didn't acknowledge them. We have fears that we don't want to talk about it. We have grudges that we don't want to forgive. So how long does it take for a person to go from acknowledging, okay, I have a problem? Because the first phase is denial, and it can be for years. But since we start acknowledging that we have a problem, till till we said, okay, the problem is no longer weighing us down. We are able to fight everything that will come our way. So how long from aware to empowered?
Okay. Do you want the good news or the bad news? First.
Me with both.
My mom has a saying that I've been saying it publicly now. It's kind of stupid, but it's actually profound in the same time. My mom told me, she's like, how long will you keep doing this work? For how long? And I was asking her this question, and my mom says, she's like, we're gonna learn all our lives and learn our lives, and we're still gonna die stupid. I said, Mom, that's not brilliant. She's like, yeah, but listen, we're gonna learn our life and we're still gonna die stupid. So the meaning behind that is that the good and the bad news is that this work never ends. That's the bad news. The good news that this work never ends. And I say it is the bad and the good news because that means the more work you have and the more willingness is to do the work, the more you have a purpose to live a longer life.
Mhm,
Most of the people are perishing or they're dying from their neck down, and then all of it, because they're not willing to do the work.
mhm,
So for me is that I'm constantly in work. It never ends. The healing never stops. Probably it's never gonna stop other lives if that exists and if we still have parts of other lives. It never is never gonna be done. It's just us as humans and as soul. We choose to come in this time, in this particular moment, in this body, with these parents, with these situations, because we came to learn certain things and experience. More than learning
okay.
is experience, all of this.
I will not let you go so easy. So how long did it take from you to get it from, okay, I have a problem, to the stage where you are now? Because you're handling everything, and you're in a good mood. You are really fun to speak to, and you help others get there too. So how long does it take from acknowledging the problem to, let's say, you said accept it and just start working on it?
Depends of, to be honest, it depends of the problem.
Mhm,
They are like the problem. I mean emotions, because it comes at the bottom of it is the emotions, unfelt and unprocessed emotions. At least for me, I had emotions that I became aware of them, and right there and then, either with the help of my mentor or someone that I work with, and I process it then, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I process it right there and then, and it was done. Or there were emotions and patterns inside of me that I became aware, and I kind of like tippy toe with them and work with them here and there. And then, years later, I it happened to get the right opportunity, the right moment to just go to the end of it. I give you an example. I came from alcoholic father with well, in the family, and I've been tapping like tippy toe on that situation, those emotions of being feeling abused, feeling abandoned, feeling that I wasn't seen and loved and accepted, that my father abandoned me, and so on, so on, so on. And I've been tippy toe with that emotions for a long time. I will say at least 5 years. At least that since I became aware. Because you
mhm.
was asking. Since I became aware. 3 weeks ago, I went to a private event with my mentor. And I thought I worked on that. I thought. I thought. And He came in one of the days where we do like the full days of work. One of the days he asked me a question. We're talking about finance, and of course, some of you know that finance, money, and all of that is connected with your relationship with your father. They are intertwined. And he was asking me about that, and we got to the closer to the root cause that it had to do with my father, and then we get into it. And he knew because we're doing the work for a while. He sat with me. He didn't go anywhere. He just sat there, and then he keep asking me questions, and we keep asking questions, and then we went from the mental, and we dropped to the heart, and then I had that deep connection, and I went from the anger that I felt for my dad, the disappointment, the hate. I had to sit and he sat with me with those emotions, not running from them, let them fully feel. I felt like I went to hell, literally. I felt like I was in hell. I felt like if I bursted, I want to kill that person in front of me, that he represent like my dad. That like I went there. It's hard to even explain in words, but emotionally, mentally, to the soul level, I felt like I went to hell, and I sat with it. As much as a part of me want to run, get out of the room, I want to punch him, I want to do all these things, but because I've been preparing myself all these years, the tippy toe, even those counts, that moment was crucial for me. Sit with it until the bottom of it and feel it fully and let it come out whatever needs to come out. And like any emotions, we know that doesn't last more than 90 seconds. In that moment, feeling like I was at the rock bottom with these emotions, and you couldn't go lower than this. I felt all the demons and all the parts of me that I will never want to ever face or experience. Those parts that you physically want to kill a person, those parts when you want to hurt someone, which is that's not me, but are parts of me that were so hurt that I want to revenge or all these things. Sitting with that, I'm telling you, in like couple of seconds, something switched inside of me. And instead of me seeing the person in front of me that were representing my dad, see him instead of want to hate him and kill him and all these bad things, I start only see love, pure acceptance and love for the person in front of me. And I didn't see him as a dad anymore or as a soul. I saw him as a beautiful being that was there to serve me. And all these years served me. He chose to be me. He chosen to be a person that had to execute certain things in my life so I can experience that type of emotions. Because anger, hate, all these things are part of humanness. And we can't serve anybody else without us feeling those emotions. So for me, it was a crucial moment, that moment when I something switched at the being of who I am, not just at the body side or the physicality, but something inside of me switched, and I felt so grounded afterwards. And to realize, not just intellectually, because most of us that we do personal development, we understand it here. But the true transformation is when we actually feel it with our body, understand it with our mind, and love it and accept it for what it is with our soul, with our heart. Body, mind, and soul integration. That's true healing. And that was my process. Like I said, some of them take shorter time, some of them can take longer. I have a mentor in Romania, 17 years, she's a psychologist. 17 years. Her mother died 17 years. 17 years later, she thought she did all the work. Something in her life triggered her the same pattern of emotions to realize that she never gave herself time to grieve. 2 weeks, she sat and cried for 2 weeks until she felt like I felt at the bottom of it, until it was no longer hurt and is transformed to pure acceptance and love. Integrates the body, mind, and soul. And that's when you get to full healing or alignment with what is, because you don't see the positive or you don't see the negative. You see both, which is mean neutral, which is mean alignment. So it's hard to give you a straight, like a direct answer, because every single person process things differently. It can be a couple of minutes or it can be 17 years.
Okay. So I was hoping for an exact answer. I know that there is none, but I was pushing in that direction. Uh, so before we conclude this podcast, what would be your number one advice for people experiencing midlife? Where should they start? Where should they go? How should they go about it? What's your take on that?
I will give you my own from my own personal journey, is be curious. Be curious about why it's happening, what's happening. And like I said earlier, don't ask why this is happening to me. Why me? And be like, why is this happening to me? I'm just curious. Is this happening for me, to me? I'm just gonna try to figure out why, what's happening. Just bring the curiosity that you had as a child, because we all had it, and bring that into the situation that happening. See, I can give you a quick exercise is when a situation happened that you're not agreeing with it, take a piece of paper and write down what are the benefits of this situation. Not just one, two, 20, 30. Literally sit and write. I know your mind is going to say, yeah, but Adriana, this is a catastrophe. I can't find any good in this. I promise you, you will find something good in this. It has to be somewhere in there, has to be a benefit. It has to be. Write those benefits. And on the other side of the page, think of if this situation, the ideal of what you have wanted to happen, what are the advantages of the ideal situation if would have happened, and write all those things. Like this, you're going to start seeing the beauty of the negative and the positive sides of that situation. And when you're able to bring the positive and the negative on the same situation, you become neutral to it. You just accept it for what is. But you have to do the work.
Amazing. So, Adriana, where can our listeners get in touch with you? Where can they uh, check more about you?
They can find me on social media, all over social media, Adriana D Marvel, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, you name it. And also on becomeconquer.com. That's my website.
Okay, so Adriana, thank you very much for all these insights and thank you for being my guest tonight.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure. And you have amazing questions.
Thank you.